Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive deep into some more fascinating research. Today, we're tackling group problem solving. That whole idea of two heads are better than one. Well, get ready for a twist.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. This paper we're looking at actually suggests that group intelligence isn't as simple as just, adding up IQs.
Oh, really? So just having a room full of brilliant minds doesn't guarantee amazing results. I gotta admit, I'm intrigued.
Right. That's what I thought too. It all comes down to this concept of collective intelligence, or CI for short. Basically, it measures how much better a group performs compared to the average individual in that group.
Makes sense. So a high CI means the group is clicking, exceeding
Yeah.
expectations, right?
Exactly. It's like everyone brings their own knowledge to the table, their own individual mental map of the problem, and as they interact, they start to build a collective mental map. It's pretty cool when you think about it.
Okay, I'm liking where this is going, merging mental maps and all. But how exactly do we measure this collective intelligence thing? What are we looking at specifically?
Well, you're essentially comparing what the group achieves together versus what you predict based on their individual abilities. A big difference. That's a sign of high CI.
So it's not just about individual brilliance, it's about how well those minds connect and collaborate, right?
You got it. And this is where things get really interesting. The research found that this collective intelligence isn't constant. It actually changes based on how difficult the task is.
Hold on, so the difficulty of the task actually impacts how well a group performs collectively. You've definitely got my attention now.
Yeah, they found this sweet spot, a zone of optimal difficulty where CI peaks, too easy or too hard, and the group's performance can actually suffer.
A sweet spot, huh? Sounds intriguing. Tell me more about this Goldilocks zone of group problem solving.
Well, think about it. If the task is too easy, everyone's skills are kind of overkill.
Right, like using a sledgehammer to crack a peanut. I get it. So too easy, and you're not really tapping into that collective potential.
Exactly. But on the flip side, if the task is insanely difficult, even pooling everyone's knowledge might not be enough.
Okay, so you're saying that finding that middle ground, that sweet spot of challenge, is key to unlocking a group's true problem-solving potential.
Exactly. And to really break this down, the research looked at three different scenarios.
All right, lay it on me. What are these three scenarios?
So, scenario one, easy tasks. Imagine a group of, let's say, experienced chefs. They're following a basic recipe for, scrambled eggs.
Okay, so pretty straightforward, not a lot of room for innovation or complex problem solving there.
Exactly. They all know what they're doing. The steps are simple. Their collective intelligence isn't really being pushed.
Right, it's not that they'd mess up the eggs, it's just there's not much need for that group synergy to shine through.
Right. Now let's bump up the challenge a bit. Scenario two, moderately difficult tasks. Same group of chefs, but this time they're tasked with creating a brand new dish.
Okay, now we're cooking. They've got to think outside the box, combine their skills in new ways, right?
Exactly. This level of difficulty forces them to tap into their individual strengths, their unique perspectives.
So like one chef might excel at flavor combinations, while another is all about texture, and they bounce ideas off each other.
Precisely. And that's where that collective intelligence really starts to flourish. They're pushing each other, inspiring each other.
I can see it now, a symphony of culinary creativity. And the result? Something way more innovative than any one chef could have come up with alone.
You got it. Now, let's crank the difficulty up to 11 with scenario 3, those super complex tasks. Think of it as the culinary equivalent of like creating a dish that defies expectations, something completely new, using cutting-edge techniques, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Okay, now I'm picturing those chefs huddled together, brows furrowed, surrounded by beakers and Bunsen burners, the whole shebang. It's getting intense.
Right. And in this scenario, even with all their combined expertise, there's a chance they might hit a wall.
So you're saying that even with all that brain power, there's a limit. That even the most brilliant minds working together can still fall short.
It's true. But what's really interesting is that even if they don't fully solve the problem, that process of struggling together, it often sparks new insights, unexpected breakthroughs.
It's kind of humbling in a way, realizing that even when we pool our knowledge, there are still some challenges that might remain unsolved.
Right.
But I also love the idea that those struggles, those moments of collective effort, can lead to unexpected discoveries.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this research so fascinating. It's not just about throwing more brainpower at a problem and hoping for the best. It's about understanding the nuances of the challenge itself and finding that sweet spot where collective intelligence can truly thrive.
So it sounds like it's not just about having a team of experts, it's about having The right team with the right mix of skills facing the right level of challenge. Am I getting that right?
Exactly. And that's what makes this research so relevant to you, to everyone, really. Think about the kinds of problems you're trying to solve in your own lives.
Hmm.
Are you maximizing the power of collective intelligence? Or are you stuck in one of those extreme scenarios, either spinning your wheels on something too easy or completely overwhelmed by something way too complex?
Now that you mention it, I can think of plenty of times when I've been part of a team that was either totally in over their heads or, you know, just kind of phoning it in because the task was so simple.
It happens to all of us. But now you've got this framework, this awareness of the sweet spot. So next time you're facing a challenge with a group, you can take a step back and ask yourself, are we striking that right balance?
This has been incredibly eye-opening. I love how we've gone from this kind of abstract idea of group intelligence to these really practical insights that we can all apply in our own lives. But before we wrap up, I'm curious, we've been focusing on like knowledge and task difficulty, but what about those other factors that influence how well groups work together? Things like communication styles or personalities.
That's a great point. It's not just about what you know, it's about how you work together, how you communicate, how you navigate disagreements.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. You could have a team stacked with absolute geniuses, but if they can't communicate effectively or respect each other's ideas, they're not going to get very far.
Exactly. Imagine you have two teams. One is full of certified geniuses, but they can't seem to agree on anything. The other team, maybe they don't have those same towering IQs, but they communicate really well, they respect each other's opinions, and they genuinely enjoy working together. Which team do you think is going to achieve something amazing?
That's a fantastic question. It really makes you think about those other ingredients that go into successful collaboration.
Yeah.
It's not just brain power. It's about creating an environment where those brains can connect, where ideas can flow freely.
I couldn't agree more. This whole idea of collective intelligence, it's a journey of exploration. There's so much more to learn and to apply, but hopefully this has given you some food for thought, some new tools to experiment with.
It definitely has. To our amazing listeners, keep exploring these ideas, keep experimenting. You never know what incredible solutions you might unlock when you tap into the power of collective intelligence. Until next time, happy collaborating. So what I'm hearing is it's not just about throwing a bunch of brilliant minds at a problem and hoping for the best, right?
Yeah.
It's about understanding the challenge itself and putting together the right team with the right mix of skills and, yeah, maybe even the right level of difficulty to really make things click.
You nailed it. And that's what makes this research so relevant to you, you know? Think about the problems you're trying to solve in your own life. Are you really tapping into that collective intelligence?
Now you've got me thinking about all those times I've been on a team that was either totally spinning their wheels on something way too simple or, completely drowning in a problem that was way over our heads.
It happens, but now you've got this framework, this awareness of that sweet spot. So next time you're facing a challenge with a group, you can ask yourself, are we striking the right balance here?
This has been incredibly eye-opening. We've gone from this abstract idea of group intelligence to these really practical insights that we can actually use. But before we wrap up, we've talked a lot about knowledge and how difficult the task is. But what about all those other things that affect how well groups work together? Like communication styles or personalities, those intangible things.
Such a good point. It's not just about what you know in your head, it's about how you work together, how you talk to each other, how you deal with disagreements, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine a team full of absolute geniuses,
Yeah.
but they can't communicate or respect each other's ideas.
Yeah,
They're not going to get very far, are they?
exactly. Picture this. You've got two teams. One is packed with certified geniuses, but they just can't seem to agree on anything. The other team, maybe they don't have those crazy high IQs, but they communicate clearly, they respect each other, and they actually like working together. Which team do you think is going to achieve something truly incredible?
That's a really thought-provoking question.
Mhm.
It makes you realize that there's so much more to successful collaboration than just raw intelligence. It's about fostering an environment where people can connect and ideas can flourish.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This whole idea of collective intelligence, it's a journey. There's always more to discover and explore.
It definitely is a journey. And this deep dive has given us a lot to think about and some really great tools to use along the way. To all our listeners out there, keep those mental gears turning. Keep experimenting and exploring new ways to work together. You never know what amazing things you might achieve when you unlock the power of collective intelligence. Until next time, happy collaborating, everyone.